I found it. All right. So I'm super excited to do this Zoom for you guys. I know some of you are on my team, some of you are sideline. I'm super excited that you guys are all here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Danielle Kwong. I've been part of this business for 5 years now, almost 5.5. And I started as a broke college student. I just wanted $200 extra a month to help me pay for some bills, help me maybe pay for college, and it just turned into so much more than that, you guys. When I joined, I didn't expect to be here 5 years later, and that's where I'm at now. So I seriously love this business. I love what I do, and I'm super excited to host this training for you. So tonight, I wanted to have 2 of our top enrollers from last month come on and just share some of their tips with you. So we have Marissa and Vanessa who are going to be on tonight. I'm just going to ask them a few questions and let them, I don't know if they have a preference on who goes first. Marissa's first in my viewpoint, so I'll probably just start with her and then I'll get to Vanessa. But I'm going to ask a few questions and then I'll let them share anything extra that they want to add to this training. So Marissa, let me see if I can find your name real quick and unmute you, or if you can unmute yourself, if it lets you.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, perfect. Okay, so if you want to just take a second and maybe just introduce yourself to those who might not know you, maybe tell a little bit about why you joined, how long you've been with the business, what rank you are.
Okay, yeah. So like Danny said, I'm Marissa. I am 22 years old. I've been with the business for 4 years now. January 5th was my 4-year anniversary. And I live in a teeny tiny town in Southwest Minnesota. Literally, there's 300 people? 200 people in the town we live in. And every surrounding town is like the same size. Our county is like super, super tiny, nobody. And I may not have grown up where I live now, but I've always lived in a very rural area of Minnesota. So that was a big thing for me when I joined the business, was I didn't have a really big network. I know there's a lot of people that like live in bigger cities that join this, and whether or not that affects the network that you have. But I just wanted to make an testament that you don't have to know tons of people. But anyways, I got started in this business when I was 18 years old. It was about a month after my 18th birthday, and I joined literally just for gas money and groceries because I was going to college full time. I had actually moved out of my parents' house. It was my senior year of high school, and I was taking college classes. So going to school, I was on the college track team, which had me practicing like 2 hours a day and then traveling about 5 hours each way to meets on the weekends. And then I was working at Buffalo Wild Wings and nannying. So I had a very busy schedule, and a lot has changed over the 4 years that I've been in this business. I've definitely like grown up through the business. I've dated around. I met Max, my fiance, like over the years, and we've obviously moved. I've moved multiple times through the business, and now I'm working this while bartending part-time and slowly renovating our house and planning a wedding, which is really, really stressful. So like this business, obviously I joined like just for gas money and whatever, but you don't have to have the same why when you join throughout your whole business, because your life is going to change and you're going to have so many different things that happen as you're on this journey. So your why is always going to be changing. My why changes, I would say, probably almost every single month. There's something different that this business can do for me and that I need this business for. So like, don't ever get hung up on like, oh, I joined for this, but I don't need that anymore. Like, there's always going to be something in the business that you need.
Yeah, absolutely true. I love that. Especially as someone who's been in for a long time, I can totally relate to that because I joined for very different reasons than obviously what I'm working this business for now. I'm not a college student anymore. You know, I'm married, I have a daughter. So my why has definitely changed many times over the years. So I totally get that. Thank you for sharing your story. I love your story because it resonates really with me because it's very familiar to me because I had 10 things on my plate when I started too. I was a college student working full time, and then I turned into working full time to planning a wedding, and then I was working full time, and then I was also getting ready for a baby and, preparing a nursery and all that. And so I always had like 10 things going on at the same time, it felt like. So I love that you shared that part, because I think a lot of people think, you need a ton of free time to do this. You can't be busy doing 8 different things, otherwise it's never going to work for you. And that's just not true. So and you have been in this business for a long time, and I know that you've always been really amazing at enrolling. So I'm really excited to hear you share your tips about what's working for you, especially since things have probably changed a lot since you first joined the business, as far as how you work and what you do consistently. So if you want to share with us maybe just some tips on what you have that's working for you. Is it follow-ups? Is it host to post? Is it posting in your stories? Like, where are you getting your enrollments from?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
or is it a combination?
Mhm. So I actually went through and wrote down all the distributors and customers I signed up last month, and like when I connected with them first, how many follow-ups. So I'm just gonna quick like go through that just so you guys can see a little bit of the difference, because I do have some people that I signed up pretty quickly, and then there's some people that are the polar opposite. And being that I've been in the business for a long time, you guys can really see as new people that you're not gonna sign everyone on the spot. So the first distributor I signed last month, I added on Facebook in June of 2018. The first message I sent her was February of 2019 about the host to post. And then we literally didn't talk again, which shame on me, because I should have followed up with her after she made a host to post. She reached out to me on January 2nd, and then I signed her January 3rd. So it just goes to show people are still going to be watching you all the time. She watched me for 2 years basically before she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I've been watching what you do. Can I join you?" And like, I could have asked her right after she did a host post for me back in 2019, and she probably would have been interested. So I wasted a lot of time. And one of the big things I want to recommend all of you guys do is make sure you're checking back in with the people that host posted for you, offering the business. And even if they're not interested in the business, that's okay, because you can get them into the BeautyWorks page and you can offer products. The second distributor, Jenna, who's on here, she enrolled January 8th. I added her on Facebook December 2019. The first message that was sent to her was June of 2020. So we were friends for like 6 months. And then it was about host post. She did a second host post for me the next month. And then I followed up with her about the biz the month after that. And then I messaged her 2 times about the giveaway, October of 2020. And then I messaged her in December about the giveaway again. And I brought up the business, and she had done multiple host posts for me. And then I missed her reply, which sometimes happens. And I can attest nobody's perfect, especially me. So then I messaged her back the beginning of January, and then we went back and forth for the next couple days, and then I eventually got her signed up. So that's just another one. Follow up with your host posters, because more than likely, if they're willing to post for you, they're willing to make money, because they posted to hopefully win money. So it's really the same thing. And then the third distributor I signed January 28th. I added her as a friend on Facebook in December of 2018. This is a long one, you guys. She commented on a business host post, and that's why we first connected as friends. So I reached out to her. The conversation never really went anywhere. January 2019, I followed up about the cleanse on Facebook. I do believe we took the conversation off Facebook in between these, so there's probably some follow-ups in between. I just went through my Facebook messages. After the follow-up cleanse, there's a space between January and November with no follow-ups, but then I followed up about a Black Friday pop-up sale. So again, nobody's perfect, but if you stop following up, nothing's ever going to happen. December, I had her do a host post, and then I added her to the BeautyWorks page. January 2020, I reached out about a giveaway that she commented on, and then I also followed up about the business. February, business follow-up. March, business follow-up 2 times. a giveaway message again, and then another business follow-up. So that's literally 3 follow-ups about the business plus talking to her about the giveaway in 1 month. And then April, I followed up about the business, followed up again with pre-selling. She replied to me and then ended up ultimately ghosting me, didn't get on the pre-selling Zoom. So then May, I followed up with her again about the business, actually 4 times, so every single week. June, I followed up about the business 2 times. August, I followed up again. And then November, I followed up 2 times. I sent a message on Thanksgiving just saying happy Thanksgiving, which I recommend all of you guys to do this with your potentials. It's super easy with the Connect app, and that's something I'm going to touch on a little bit, but you should be connecting with all of your potentials on holidays and just sending very, very simple, like, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you and your family are well, blah, 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 blah. Like, just a short little blurb. It lets people know that you, like, actually care about them. And then December, I followed up about the business, and then I followed up with her again in January. We talked about it. I did a follow-up the next day, and I signed her up. So, like, I know I sent a screenshots of this specific distributor. There's like 30 follow-ups that I did with this girl. And there's multiple times that she did not reply to me, but I still kept following up with her. And it wasn't the same exact message every single time. And if you're stuck on what to follow up with someone when you followed up multiple times, just reach out to your enroller, because we have hundreds of different follow-ups to use, and you can go at it from so many different angles. You can follow up about the products, or follow up about a host to post, or the BeautyWorks page, or pre-selling. There's so many different options. And then my 4th distributor I added on Facebook December 2018 from host to post. So the same thing as the first one, or the last one I just talked about. And then I didn't follow up with her until June of 2019 about the host to post. But again, I'm pretty sure I had a bunch of texting conversations. I just couldn't find the conversation because we took it off of Facebook. So I think there was some text message follow-ups in there. Then July of 19, a business follow-up. November, I did a Black Friday follow-up. December, I did a business follow-up. The following February, so we're in 2020. February, business follow-up. March, a product follow-up. April, business follow-up. May, I did a pre-selling follow-up. She ended up not being able to get on, and then I followed up again that month. And then June, I did a business follow-up. August, I did a business follow-up. November, I did a business follow-up. Then I sent her a message on Thanksgiving. December, I did 2 business follow-ups, and then January, I did another business follow-up. So if you guys are seeing a theme here, follow-up is key. There's very few people that I have signed right on the spot, but if you don't follow up with them, they're never going to join. And it's pretty much the same thing with my loyal customers. I signed up 3 this last month. My one, I messaged her 30 times of follow-ups that I went back and counted. The first time I talked to her was October of 2017. And she just ordered the gummies. And she had reached out to me numerous times, replying to my story, replying to my posts. And she was interested, but she was never ready to order. And then the other 2 are a little different. The one I literally had her reach out to me this month was like, hey, I've seen you using the products. I want to try them. And she pretty much reached out to me and signed on the spot. The third customer, she commented on one of my hosted posters that did a giveaway hosted post, put up a post about the coffee and the tea. I offered her the business. She said she wasn't interested, so I offered her the BeautyWorks page. And then literally right after I offered her the BeautyWorks page, she's like, how much is the coffee? And then she actually ended up signing for 84 BV when she just asked about the coffee. So my biggest takeaways from this is make sure you're organizing your potentials, because like I've said, there was times that I missed follow-ups for months at a time. And one thing that I have been doing lately, and trying to implement as much as possible, is making sure I have all of my potentials in the Connect app, because it makes it super simple. You just go right down the list every single week. Jessica, I can go over that here in a second. But it just also makes sure that you don't leave anyone behind, because it really sucks when you go back to follow up with someone and the last time you talked to them was like 5 months ago. And then you're like, hey, by the way, are you still interested in the business? And then some people are like, I haven't talked to you in 6 months. Why are you asking me? I'd rather just be in their back pocket all the time and have them not reply and then be like, okay, I know you've been messaging me 5 million times. I just wasn't ready. Or they go and sign with someone else because you stop following up with them. And then you follow up with them 6 months later and they're like, actually, I already signed up. And you're like, oh crap. Happened to me multiple times, all the time. And then, like I've said, continuing the conversation with people that did a host to post, making sure you're using the BeautyWorks page. Jessica, I know you asked how I'm inviting. I'm pretty much just saying, let me see if I can find it in boards.
While she's looking for that, I just want to say that I totally agree with everything you're saying about following up, following up. So obviously, those of us who've been in the business for a long time, we have lots and lots of people that we're following up with. These are just the people that like enrolled, but I would say like on any given month, like, you know, there's probably hundreds of people that we're following up with. And honestly, like some people, when it comes to follow up, especially if they're new, they can be very hesitant because they don't want to bother people. Or people, when they don't respond, they feel like it's something personal, like, oh, that must mean they're not interested. And something that I've learned, you guys, is a lot of times people that don't respond, it's like usually one of three things. It's like either they read it and they thought they responded and they didn't, because I'm guilty of doing that all the time. I literally do that all the time. I'm human, and I tell people, especially like my new people, I'm like, if I ever don't respond to you like in 24 hours, like message me again. Like, okay. They probably read it at a time when maybe it wasn't the best time for them to get back to you. Like it wasn't necessarily easy for them. Maybe they were at work. Maybe they were like getting ready to walk into class, you know, if they're a college student. Like there's a bunch of reasons that someone might have meant to like come back and message you back and then forgot. Or they don't have the money and they don't want to tell you. You know, sometimes not having the money is really a pain point for people, and they don't know how to express to you that they don't have the money to either buy the products or join right now, even if we know that sometimes you have to invest money to make money, right? So I would say like the biggest thing to keep in mind is that you're in a business now, you own a business. It might not be a brick and mortar store, but you have a business, and your job is to check in with the people who show interest in anything that you offer, whether it's the opportunity or the products. And if you think about it, the last time you went to Target and probably browsed on the website or like Old Navy or something, how many times did you get an email saying, were you looking at something? You left something in your cart, blah, blah, like, and they're totally like emailing you forever, trying to get you to come back and buy whatever it is that you were looking at, right? So all businesses do this, and you're a business owner now. So your job is to make sure that you are in these people's inbox, reminding them that they were interested in something at one point, and letting them know when we have sales, letting them know when we have an opportunity for them to join at a promotional price, especially if their reason was because they couldn't afford the $99 when it's $99. And you don't want to have the person that you were talking to, you don't want to follow up with them, like Marissa said, you know, 6 months later or 3 months later and find out that, hey, they already ordered with somebody else because somebody else was doing something like popping up in their inbox consistently and you weren't, because it's really a not good feeling when it happens. So just keep in mind that consistency with follow-up is really key. And the biggest thing that I think I learned at the first conference I ever went is I don't remember who said it on stage, but they shared that like like the average amount of contacts to make a sale, you guys, is 7 to 10 contacts before somebody will purchase from
I've
you.
actually heard 7 to 21.
Is it 7 to 21?
I
Maybe
think
that's
it's
what it
7
is.
to 21.
I probably have it in my notes, 7 to 20. Well,
But
I know that's
I
like
mean, still, at least 7.
yeah.
And you guys that have been in the business for less than 30 days, if you're following up once a week, you're not even to that 7th time.
And
It's going to take you 2 months.
yeah, so just keep that in mind, and just know that like getting potentials to add to your list, like that was what I counted as a win, because everything that you do right now, you guys, you're planting seeds, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to have seeds that are going to sprout into a harvest season if you're not planting them. So if you're not sharing, if you're not popping up in people's inbox reminding them what we have to offer, you're not going to have a harvest season. So when I started, my goal was to just get as many people on a piece of paper on my list of potential customers or potential distributors, like people who said they were interested, to get as many names down as I could. So just keep that in mind. And then I think you said you were looking for a message to share about
Yeah,
the reworks
so
page.
typically what I do after they host the post, like the next day, I'll message them, and what I have is it just says, "Thanks so much for posting. Here's the link to the event where the winners will be announced. Mark yourself as going so you get the notifications." And then it's the link to the Facebook event for Jade's giveaway. That way I don't have to go back and be like, "Hey, this is the winner," or I don't have 30,000 people messaging me and be like, "Was the winner announced?" Because they're already marking themselves as going, and they'll get a notification when the live happens. And then the last part of the message says, "Also forgot to mention, my team and I do giveaways for free product in our VIP group. Could I shoot you an invite?" And then it says, "Also, do you like coffee or have trouble falling or staying asleep?" Because the Skinny Brew and the Sleepy Tea are both in our sampling app. And then if they say yes to either of those, I say, "As a thank you for posting, I wanted to give you a $5 off coupon for Skinny Brew or Sleepy Tea." And then I just like explain the products and ask if they want one of those. I have sold a lot of sample packs from people that have done host to post for me. And I always offer to upgrade them to a customer before just selling them the Skinny Brew. Basically, when they ask like what the price is, I'll say, so it's $15 for a 3-day supply, or it's, and then whatever the price is, depending on if there's a sale going on for a month supply, which makes it only like whatever, $3 a day or whatever it is, depending on what the loyal customer pricing is. So then they can see like how much of a good deal it is. And I kind of throw something in there about like getting the month supply, you're going to be able to see results versus just trying the products. So that's pretty much what I do for Beauty Works after people host post.
Perfect. So before I move on to Vanessa, I guess one last thing I just wanted to know was what sort of advice would you offer, or like what is one big tip that you would like want to share or pass on that you've learned in the business to somebody maybe who just joined recently?
One thing I've struggled with in this whole entire business is staying organized. And what I actually just started today, I printed my Facebook's friend list again, and I suggest every single one of you guys do this tonight. If you don't know how to download your Facebook friends list, you can reach out to me, Danielle, or I believe look in the team page. There's a really good video on how to do it. I printed it off. I'm going through and messaging people off of this, and I'm highlighting every person I message, and then I'm organizing them in my Connect app. After, like, I just finished this whole page of messaging them, and then after I got done messaging them all, I went and, like, as I messaged them, I wrote down if they were a PLC or a PDT at all. I'm going back through the Connect app and making sure they're all in there, and they're in like my PLC category, so I know to follow up with them in the future, because there was tons of people just from this one page that were potentials that I didn't even have in my Connect app. So those are people that are slipping through the cracks. And I just know when I joined, I was horrible at being organized with my potentials. And I just found myself like I would scroll back through my messages. And the more and more people that you message, the harder it's going to be to find people, especially if you're not writing them down or using some kind of tool to keep them organized. And it makes follow-up so much faster.
Absolutely.
So I think that's about it.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah, I need to get a working printer so I can print off my Facebook list. I do not have one right now, but I love that tip.
Mine was 52 pages, and I only printed half of it.
Yeah. I think someone shared it took like an hour or something for their list to print
Yeah.
the other day. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your tips, Marissa. All of that was super awesome, and I can't wait to talk to Vanessa. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me find your name and unmute you. I think it's I'm asking to unmute you, so I think you have to like.
I got it. I got it.
Perfect. All right. Why don't you just start by introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about why you joined, what your why is now, and like what this business has done or is doing for you.
Okay. So my name is Vanessa, and I am a Ruby leader. I've been with the business for, it'll be a year. It's been a year since November or October. Um, I'm a mama of four. I work full time as a phlebotomist for a blood bank, and I finished my bachelor's degree in the beginning of the business. So I literally work this business in the nooks and crannies of my life because being a mama of four and working full time, there's not a lot of time. So um, that's how I work it. So it'd be early in the morning loading my stories, or in the evening when everybody's in bed, um, things like that. So sorry, I'm
Awesome.
tired.
No, you're fine. You know what? You always amaze me because you're working full time and you have four kids. And I know you finished your bachelor's. That's such an accomplishment. I remember when that happened. You are seriously one of the hardest working people I know, and you're an inspiration to me because I am at home with one baby and I'm struggling. Some days I'm struggling. So you are an inspiration to me. You're one of the top enrollers, obviously. We have, oh, shoot. Interesting. Sorry, my Zoom just told me we only have 10 minutes left, which is really weird because it hasn't been giving me a timer for the last like 2 weeks, but now I have one. Okay, so why don't you share with us, sorry, Vanessa, some of your tips for how you are enrolling? Just let us know, like, is it host to post? Is it follow up for you? Is it, people that you've been checking in with a lot, like Marissa? Are they signing on the spot? Like, what's going on? How are you signing people up?
So honestly, for the most part, for me, it's consistency. So literally, I like if I don't have a lot of time, I always make sure I post in my stories. And some of my customers are actually watching, or some of my potential customers watch my stories, and then they eventually be like, hey, does that really work, or they want more information about it. um, both of both of my customers last month ordered from my stories, so watching from there. um, and then my distributor, he is actually one of my customers, and then he decided that he wanted to start selling, so I got one of my customers to be a distributor. So basically, off my stories for me and being consistent, I think. So people watching and then following up, like, is probably the best thing. So consistency and following up.
I love that, and honestly, you saying that one of your customers signed up as a distributor is such a good tip because I think we forget to go back and check with our customers who are loving the products.
He's
And
actually a V customer too. So he's been ordering products since April. So
wow.
last April.
Okay. Yeah. Because I actually just signed a distributor today too, who was a customer. And so I think that's a really good tip is if you have people who are loving the products and they're already using them, it doesn't hurt to say like, hey, have you ever thought about adding an extra income? Why not use the products and make some money? You know what I mean? We all know that when you become a product of the product and you are sharing what you love, it doesn't feel like selling, and people are more apt to believe you or to like want what you're offering if they see you using it and they see how much you personally love it. So I think that's a great tip. I also love that you said consistency and being in your stories, because that's something that's also huge, I think, is just staying at the forefront of your stories and sharing, and that you're working this in the nooks and crannies, whether it's in the morning or at night, because I totally feel that. I've been there. That was me for a long time. I would wake up early or I would stay up late and do this. So um, do you have any piece of advice that you would want to share to someone maybe who just started in this business, maybe something that you've learned along the way or that you wish you knew when you first got started?
Like Marissa said, stay organized and write everybody down. That way you don't have to go back and because you lose people. And consistency, and don't give up. Just gotta keep going. That's
I
what I'm
love that.
doing.
Yeah.
I've got goals. I want to stay. So
He's so cute, that little baby. I love his hair.
his hair always sticks up.
I cannot wait for Lorelai to grow hair. She's still a little bald baby, but it's fine. um, Okay, you guys. So I just want to say thank you both for being on here so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your tips with everybody. I hope that you guys that were on were able to pick up some of the things. I called this Top Enrollers Share Their Secrets because honestly, guys, what I really wanted you to take away from this is that there's no actual secret to enrolling in this business. Everything that we tell you guys to do every day, host a post, staying consistent, following up, just being present in your stories and working the biz, being organized. Like these are all the things that we share with you guys, that we talk to you guys about a lot. And it's not a secret. And it's the recipe for success. So if you guys are having a hard time with finding a way to work this business into the nooks and crannies, like don't be afraid to reach out for help. Talk to your enrollers. But I hope you guys all picked up maybe some helpful tips. I know I'm going to try and work on figuring out how I can print out my Facebook list because I need to do that. It's been a long time. So, and I think everyone touched on organization here, and it's so important to stay organized. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end this, but I thank all of you guys for hopping on, and I hope you guys all have a good night.